don't think so.
There's something out there. It lives out in those woods. In the dark. Something that's come back from the dead.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is a movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with legendary special effects artist and Oscar winner, Howard Berger. Howard talked about it, K&B, effects group, their connection and how they met Tarantino to be able to work on all of his films, The Walking Dead, this week's sequel, Evil Dead 2. And we talked about our buddy Eddie Yang because Howard's the one. Howard and his buddies gave Eddie that job of, hey, mow our grass and we'll show you some things in the studio. So really cool to actually talk to the guy that I've heard that story about so much. What's even cooler is the next week's interview is another person that Howard helped out, Bill Hunt. So a lot of great special effects that we're covering. But man, Howard was so cool. If you haven't heard that, be sure to check it out after this week's review. And wow, man, this is the first time I've seen this movie. I've seen a lot of clips. No, I've seen a lot of clips. It's one of those movies that I think I've caught before, like on the back in the day on cable. I never saw it front to back, but yeah, before I say anything more about this movie that could have really sucked if it wasn't for Bruce Campbell. Before I say anything more, I'm going to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
Fantastic, Doug. How are you doing?
Pretty good. So you've seen this before?
No, I think very similar to you. First of all, I didn't even think I saw the first one. I think the only scene I remember in the first one is the tree that was like hooking up with a girl or something like that, or raping a girl.
Yes. Yeah.
But this one, I saw a couple scenes, but I never saw it all the way through as well. And I have to agree with you. Like the movie is definitely dated. The overacting of the other, even Bruce Campbell. But between the camera work, because the camera itself is a character, is a character in the movie.
The spirit.
The spirit. Ridiculous. And he's awesome. Like I think like the fact that really for the first half of the movie, it's just him.
That's what I wrote down. I'm like, if this was anybody else, I think this movie would have sucked because he really, even though it was his girlfriend from the beginning. That she was like sort of there, not really after 7 minutes. She was like part of her was there at times, but just him. He was the only person, and I think if it was anybody else, it would have sucked like Castaway. Maybe somebody else in that role, unwatchable.
100%. Listen, he played a part where one, he's fighting himself. Two, he's kind of like arguing, to nobody, like arguing, like he was just like he literally carried that the first half of the movie. Question, and again, I don't know the first movie, but is this like I feel like this is a very similar story, probably to the first movie, or did they ignore the first movie? Did they ignore the first movie? Because if this happened in the first movie, why is he back in the cabin?
Great question. So I actually wrote this down because I was doing a little bit of research. So the first movie, it ended, and it was basically ended not to be.
Wait, the first movie ended?
Yeah. The way the first movie ended,
okay.
They destroyed the book. So the book gets destroyed by fire, and that's basically would be the end of the book, But obviously, at the beginning of the movie, when we go into like the backstory after we see Rosebud Releasing Corporation, we get to the Book of the Dead, the passageway to the evil beyond. But in theory, like that thing's destroyed. But they erased that in order to make a direct sequel.
But then, is it a sequel?
No, it is. Yeah, it is. No, they just changed. Obviously, it's a very important part. But it's like a direct sequel. This movie takes place right after. The end of this one goes right into the movie that's made 6 years after.
So was the beginning of this movie the end of the last movie with his girlfriend?
No, I don't think it was. No. Oh, I don't think so. Because different actors in the first one.
Okay, so then it was okay. So then why is he there? Like if all this happened, that's why I can't imagine it being a sequel because it kind of makes no sense.
It better be. We're gonna cancel.
Well, it's a sequel by title.
Okay,
I mean, but I mean, in sequel in movie world, I think they're two different movies. I don't think they're connected because he almost acts like, he's surprised when he hears the spirit for the first time and the book. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. So my guess is, they had a lower budget for the first movie. It did well and they wanted to kind of change his character a little bit. And yeah, because I don't think I'm sure Egan's going to let us know. But I would like to really know, like, how is this connected to the first movie? Because if it is, why the heck is he back at that same cabin where all the problems are?
Yeah. So like even just reading which is like a cheap way, I should have just watched it, but it's Ash Williams, his girlfriend, and three pals hike into the woods to a cabin for a fun night away. They open the book when they read the text out loud, and then everything happens. So. And Ash watches as his friends become possessed. So he's possessed in this one.
He is, but the book's there. Why, if he destroyed it the first time in the fire, why wouldn't he destroy it again the second time in the fire?
You're right, correct. And also, the only way that they probably could have gotten rid of the book, and this is what to me would have made more sense. The book was just never in it because it really didn't have to be in it because they had the recording. So the recording being read out loud released the demons like it was in the first one when they read it. So really, if the book wasn't there, then it'd be like, okay, cool. So for some reason, or if she said, these are missing pages or something. But
right. But I'm willing to bet they're just completely two different movies somehow, because it doesn't make I can't see a connection, because again, if he was the lone survivor of the first one, and he's going back to the cabin with his girlfriend again, like it doesn't make sense. If he knows fire kills the book, he would have done it in the second movie. So I think this is a completely different movie. I think they're almost
like the horror rules. It's a part of the horror rules. You forget about what happened a year ago, 2 years ago.
Or they're ignoring the first movie and just making this one. Okay, then that would be making sense. I'm sure
who
someone
lived in this house 4 years ago. It was this family. I remember there's a lot of ambulances and stuff, but I don't know. They were nice people. It's like, Freddie killed everybody in this house. Yeah.
And first of all, when you look at the house from the outside, it looks tiny. When you go inside that house, it's like a mansion. Like there's so many rooms. It's huge on the inside. So I can't imagine the outside is matching the inside.
Yeah. And I do love one thing that's really cool, especially with the budget, like even though Howard, they were in the beginning of their days, like, so when he's working on this movie, I'm sure the budget wasn't huge for the special effects, but you couldn't tell. But I love they used miniatures. So then they could do some of those cheap practical effects later on the miniature rather than having like a full scale, because when the car crosses the bridge,
gosh. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Not constant, like,
I mean, it's, what, this is the one thing I really liked about the movie is it's a bizarre movie, right? It's a completely bizarre movie. I don't even know what the plot is. It's like I don't even.
It's like their greatest hits. It's like Terror Tunes. It's like 100%. Joe Castro had his chance. Boom! I'm gonna do all the craziest shit I can. And this movie had a lot of crazy shit.
And that's what I liked about the movie, because I couldn't wait to see what bizarre things gonna happen next, or what bizarre things gonna pop out, or whatever. Like, so there wasn't a plot. It was just like, let's make as many bizarre things happen at once, at one after another. And so I was like, I couldn't wait to see, like, because everything. There's so many things that don't even match up. I mean, you have a lamp that's laughing. Like, I mean, like, it's like so bizarre. So I was just like, I couldn't wait to see what's next, kind of thing. So, and was this supposed to be a horror movie, or like, I mean, I know it's the
horror comedy. Yeah.
Because it's more comedy, very little horror.
I guess the gore, I guess the real gore there's a lot of blood in this movie. I know it's comical blood, the way it's like a pool coming out.
It's completely like blood from a bucket, someone throwing it. Like, it's like, as much as there is blood, it just looks so cheesy blood. Like, it looks like so silly blood. It's just like, so there's like really no scariness. It just and again, I love his show, Ash vs. Evil Dead. I thought it was,
I never watched it. I love him. Like, everything he turns up in
Okay.
Even when he was on the one, he was on a USA series, right? He played like the guy's boss or manager. I think the guy collected not bets or bounties. I forget the name of the show, but he was like the main guy in it, and he's always been good in everything.
Well,
Spider-Man, he has a small role in Spider-Man as the ring announcer at the wrestling when Macho Man goes against Tobey Maguire. Boom.
No,
he's so good everywhere.
I'm telling you, then watch Ash and Evil Dead.
Because check it out.
He's literally playing the same role he plays in this movie, just 30 years later. And like the gore is there, the silly gore, but his one line, he's so good at comedy. Like his he's such a smart ass that he brings that into the show. I thought the show was great, so definitely watch the show. It's very funny.
Cool.
So
I'll have to check it out.
Right. Yeah.
So so there, like, again, this movie gets right into it, like 7 minutes. I gotta say, my wife was prepping for the school year. She looked up, and every so often she goes, "Is this like the worst movie you've ever seen?" And I'm like, oh well, it doesn't have a plot that has great special effects, but it's but yeah, for somebody this is a movie that if you watch like minute 10 for a minute, like 45, an hour 20, you'd be like pretty lost because there really is like one guy probably for most of the time you peek up. Yeah.
But the movie moves. I mean, first of all, it's not a long movie. It's an hour and a half, I think, so, and it's not, so I think it was the perfect runtime. And the movie does, when it slows down is when he's not in the scene. When they do the stupid film, like the daughter and her crew, like that's when it slows down. Like to me, I could see a whole movie of Ash and every supernatural for an hour and a half. Like dealing with everything. I could watch a whole movie of that. So I mean, to me, I feel like the other group slowed it down a little bit until they got to him.
Yeah. So you mentioned how crazy it would be if he went back to the house after like what happened the weekend before. Like whatever it seems like it's like the weekend before, because that's what they say. These movies like pick up right where the other one ends. So what about the girl when she's like she's like dancing like very ballet kind of, and she goes, "But what if the people that live here come home?" And I'm like, "Whoa, what a red flag!" Like, imagine that was your first date.
Okay, that's another reason why this is not this is a different movie. It's not. It's the same house from the first movie, yet it's a random house that they just crashed. First of all, where are they going when they're basically crashing at a house that they don't know anyone there?
I know.
And it's the only house in the area, and it's the only house like by far. There's no other houses around. Where are they going to? That they just happen to come across this house.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
And to go back to that, even later in the movie, why is that tow truck driver waiting on the road? It seems like that's the only way to get into that, and it's the only house there. So what is the purpose of him going there?
Yeah.
Because it goes right into their driveway.
I think he had a purpose to go there. I mean, he's there with his girlfriend. I mean, he was
going to do the same thing, and Bruce pulled in first. So he's the one he honestly was the one that blew up the bridge. F those guys, man.
Yeah. I mean, or maybe he was a spirit or something, a possessed spirit. And that was like, hey, let me lock them, in there. But you have that. And then you have the other hillbilly couple that live in the area. Where do they live?
The tow truck driver and Bobby Joe, right? Bobby Joe?
Well, Bobby Joe and his girlfriend. Oh, no, yeah.
But wait, she's Bobby Joe.
Wait, the tow truck, the guy in the tow truck, that's the guy, the hillbilly later on?
Yeah, that's the same guy, because he goes, there's a trail to get over there. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay. But
he was hideous. He was hideous. He had like a big, he had summer teeth, and she was pretty attractive.
Well, first of all, his teeth, they look like his real teeth. So, I mean, I don't know.
That's how we get the role. We could save a ton on prosthetics.
No, he was actually kind of funny too. I mean, again,
he was,
but it was better. First of all, I mean, we're not there yet, but like, there's a lot of trusting, with the daughter of the one that's looking for her parents.
Yes,
to follow. First of all, why is everything done at midnight? Like in the middle of in the middle of nowhere. Literally in the middle of nowhere with no other houses, going through the woods. That's the time you want to look for your parents. Like, I mean, it's so stupid.
It's not like, hey, let's take a nap and have some breakfast and then pop over. We have to go in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I mean, ugh. And the fact, like their entrance of the guy flying in, like she's already there, he's flying in, like where's he coming from? her boyfriend, the guy, like what,
Yeah.
like what, like it was just like I wasn't sure what they were doing, like what their whole like.
She found a translation, so she needed to get to the book to use a translation that she just found. So probably the real reason she flew in so late, maybe they found it in Egypt in the morning or somewhere in the morning and then flew back. But that's why because those are the pages she was holding.
Yeah, correct. But they don't explain where she got the translation from.
No time, man. They made they only had 90 minutes of film. That was the budget. They couldn't go over like a Canon film. Maybe they only gave them so much. But no, there's a lot of things that were kind of like, I don't want to say left out, but there were some things that were so abruptly ended. But
because I think they were rushing through again because there was no plot. It was really like, let's get as much special effects as we can in there. We don't have time for backstories, so.
Even the first 7 minutes, like honestly, it's I think 5 minutes when they're about to hit champagne and he gives her champagne, they cheers, and he sits down for a second and there's a picture. Do you notice the picture on the desk? Didn't that look like her?
Oh yeah, it absolutely did. Yeah,
but it was probably obviously Annie, the daughter, but it looked more like the girl that he was with at that time, which
it didn't look like Annie though. That's the thing. It didn't look like Annie at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I know you're crashing into this, they're crashing at this cabin, but like, you're going to lay in that bed. Like, you don't know who lives there. You don't know what kind of like, I mean, that house really is like a Unabomber kind of person that's going to live there. Because it was in the middle of nowhere. So you're definitely should not get a normal person that's living there. So. Okay.
And it's like a really nice elderly couple, very educated. They lived like in this like kind of shithole in Tennessee. The house is in Tennessee. I don't know if it's still standing, but that's where it was. They were able to film. Yeah, they were able to film. I think the first 3 movies all have scenes at it. I don't know if the newest one used the same house or I'm sure maybe they had it replicated.
The third one had the Army of Darkness.
I feel like they show something of it. Maybe in a flashback sequence, because the second one goes right. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to be honest, though, one thing I did not like at all, and I mean, thankfully, because it led up to Army of Darkness, but the ending of this movie is awful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's
terrible.
It's like, I mean, and I don't know if they were really planning on, I mean, from the beginning they were planning, because it took 5 years to do Army of Darkness, I think. But that ending was absolutely awful, and that kind of like really made it like the movie, like the movie again is what it is. It's very special effects heavy, and that's where and comedy, but like that ending just like was like even my wife was sitting there watching, and she didn't watch the movie, and she saw that and she goes, "Are you serious with this?" I'm like,
I
"Yeah,
know.
this is the end."
All right, we gotta finish this.
Yeah.
But if you're in somebody's house, like I don't know, like I would just not like touch stuff. Does that feel weird enough, like being in there? Hey, let's touch this tape recorder, like, and hit press play, and then that's how it starts, man. He's like translating the book, the professor. We get like a little flashback of him reading it with his wife next to him, and then we see the spirit for the first time, and it's just like, shh. And then looking at her, and then I'm like, oh man, it's like obviously a spirit. I was like, maybe it's like kind of a peeping spirit. No, it goes right through the window, and they're like, and then she's gone when Bruce goes in there, when Ash goes in there.
No, and you're right. I mean, first of all, it's such an old school tape recorder thing, Oh,
I know, kind of cool.
Like you're there with your girlfriend, no one
around. What? Maybe that's not. Is that old for '87? I feel like a real wouldn't be like that.
I mean, I was in school in the '80s. I don't remember ever having anything like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So. But I mean, even so, though, like, to me, I would absolutely have no interest in like if I saw a tape recorder there. I put it on for 2 seconds. Listen, and even if you put it on, you can hear the guy talking like at his journal. I don't care to hear about this guy.
Turn it off, yeah.
Like, yeah, really, it would be like, all right,
whatever it is, you can't unhear it. It's like that blank VHS tape. Like when you're a kid and you're like, oh yeah, I want to watch Homeward Bound, and it's like, oh, this is different, and it had like silver shiny letters on it, and I'm like, oh, should I put this in? But no, it's like it's just like it was just so really bizarre. To listen to it, but yeah, and everything gets crazy. Like no joke, the fact that I wrote like 7 minutes in, she gets decapitated by a shovel when he goes outside and fights her, and then what happens next? He buries her and makes a cross. I'm like, what?
I wonder, like, if I'm in that situation, like, because he seemed kind of calm. Like, like I don't even know if I could think about burying her at this moment where she just tried to attack me. Her eyes were like behind her head, you know, and like it would take pretty much a long time to process what just happened. Like he seemed almost too comfortable about, and again, I'm assuming the first movie didn't exist, so he seemed very comfortable of, you know, like not shocked, you know.
Yeah, and because he should either be shocked because this is the first time, or the other feeling he should have is like, oh my God, this again? I've seen this before. Never says any of those things. Like we talked about that in so many movies, like they never say like in like especially like Freddy, maybe there's like one adult or one person saying, oh yeah, I remember this happened 5 years ago. It's like one person remembers. In this movie, it's like
it's like for the first time. It's so, you know, it's so I mean, but yeah, I mean, like the first 15 minutes of this movie is just like, it really, like you said, it starts right from the beginning. Like it's I don't think I've ever seen a movie that 15 minutes in and so much has happened already.
Oh yeah, and what's like, honestly, I know we see her again like really quick, but like it's him for so long. And then when you see Annie for the first time, I think it's when we see the plane land. It's like, oh my God, like, okay, this has been a long time of just him. Because
well,
even no,
go ahead.
No, because even that the next scene again, the special effects, I didn't realize that we were gonna get like really cool like Sinbad-ish like stop motion animation. When she pops out of the grave. And just, it looks so cool, man. I love it.
Well, I think, you know what, I don't think that whole scene with the airplane was necessary. I mean, they really like, but I think they did that just because, again, there was so much Bruce Campbell. They had to break it up a little bit, but then this way they can go back and they can show it's still going on. Like, you know, it's not like, you know, like, so yeah, I mean, the whole thing, once she comes back to life, you know, there's so much going on again. I mean, the head in the vice, like, you know, like, and then you have the full
the head in his lap. When he throws it up in the air, he's like, lands in his lap trying to bite him. With the finger. It bites on the finger, and then that's why he puts it on the vice.
And I was waiting. So, you know, I obviously know, you know, the chainsaw is his big. Now, is there a chainsaw in the first movie?
I don't know.
No. Okay. So when she bit his finger, I'm like, don't tell me he's cutting his hand off because she's on his finger. Like, at least just cut the finger off, you know? So, I mean, but like, I thought the chainsaw was coming then. Like, I was waiting for the chainsaw, you know, but I didn't realize when it was going to happen. But yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, like the whole, again, he's basically fighting himself. You know, he's got his dummy head that he's like attacking, you know? I mean, it was just I thought it was very well done. You know, he was just so over the top, and he's very over the top. I mean, which makes it funny.
His facial expressions, and I love that they do like the shadow. Like we don't need to see the chainsaw like in the head. We just see like the shadows, the blood going everywhere. But yeah, he does have a chainsaw in the first one. Even says the chainsaw appears in the first movie, and he also uses the double barrel shotgun. So he uses the same weapons in all the movies.
Okay, so now, well, he obviously becomes a master at it by the end of this movie, so I can see why he has it. Now, this is an old couple that lives here. They seem to have a lot of dangerous type tools and weapons.
I don't think that old man can carry that stuff.
No, and like, wait, so he got the chainsaw from the shed, right? He brought the head to the shed. But there's also like, where did they get that big thing that was stabbing everybody at the end of the movie? That like whatever.
Oh,
like
I don't know what that. Well, yeah, I don't know what that
we're
was.
not there yet,
I'm
but I mean,
guessing
like,
it was like some old artifact or something. I don't know.
But again, you have this. It's an old couple that has like.
Yeah.
They have a machete there. They have this axe. They have this they have so much going on, and they're an old couple. I mean, it just seemed like they had a lot of dangerous equipment there that maybe they shouldn't have had.
Way too dangerous, and maybe if they knew how to use it, they'd be.
That's
still
true.
with us.
That's true. And you know what?
Or if he knew how to use it.
What? Oh, you know what? Was that it? Did we see the father at all? I know we saw the mother.
Yeah. No, I don't remember seeing the dad. I don't know if that's something that
they just ignored that.
Observed in the next one, or maybe they ignored it. Yeah, no, I don't know why they wouldn't do that. But then now the spirit goes after Bruce, which is cool. Like when the spirit's like going through the house and ripping through the doors, like that's really cool. And then tackles him, and he's going in the air. This is one thing that when my wife peeked her head up, she was like, "How is he so close to the house? Like after all of this." Because he seems like he's flying for like at least a quarter mile. He's like, and hitting all these trees. And then he changes for a second. Then the sun is starting to come up. And then that's when he goes normal again. Right?
Are they part vampire? Because the sun seemed to bother them, later in the movie or something like that. So, but how about the fact that even before he gets outside, like when he's running away from the camera, again, the inside is so big of this house. Like
I know.
I mean, the house looks so small that it looks like just a couple of steps and you're already at the next room, or a couple of steps you're already at and it only looks like it has like 3 rooms. This literally the way he's running, there's multiple doors and multiple rooms as he's running.
And there's even like a secret passage because he runs behind the walls too. Like
yeah. And that looks like that cabin looks like there's no way there should be a basement there.
There should not be. There's no way there'd be a basement with higher ceilings than the first floor.
It's so ridiculous. Okay.
Unbelievable. But yeah, no. So then he wakes up. Everything's fine. He's normal. And then this is where he's trying to leave. He finds out, oh my God, look at the bridge, because the big bridge gets like pulled up and the sun's setting already. So he was passed out for the whole day. That's what happened.
Why didn't the spirit like kill him at that point? Or like,
I don't know.
So clearly the spirit attaches to people and like where they keep switching back and forth, but somehow it doesn't work for him. It works differently for him.
Yeah, different rules, I guess. But like we always say, like in Poltergeist 2, spirits, they're pranksters. That's what it's doing. It's like, man, you're gonna try to leave. Guess what? You're not.
But they don't. But it'd be one thing if they said like, all right, your lineage, your line, your lineage has this, where like you're able to fight the spirit a little better than others, because technically he should be like the mom, the hillbilly later, or the girl later, or the boyfriend later on, and so forth. Like the rules literally don't apply to him. And he's only becomes the spirit when he leaves the cabin, and it doesn't last as long as it does with the other people. So it just doesn't make sense why his is different than the other people that get bit or whatever.
Yeah. Does he even get bit? No. He just gets tackled in the air. There's no blood. He has blood from probably the trees.
But the other ones got bit, right? Didn't the other ones get bit, and that's why the spirit changed? Like, the guy, was it something with the guy? I thought he got bit or something. I mean,
her boyfriend. Yeah.
I mean, maybe biting has nothing to do with it. I'm thinking of vampires or whatever. But first of all, they kind of look like vampires. The sun bothers them, so I don't know if that's like a part of it.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, whatever they were, he looked really cool when the boyfriend turned. Oh, he looked because they probably got an actor that was like 6 inches taller. They put because he looked jacked. That was cool.
No, yeah. No, I would just be curious. And again, maybe this might be an Egan question, but like, why, like, does he not turn when he's in the house, but once he's outside, it's all like free game? And not for nothing, this house, again, we're not there yet, but when everybody's there and everybody's, like trying to protect themselves, the house is complete, like the windows, the doors, there's holes everywhere. Like there's like, they really were blocking nothing.
And also, like, the spirit can do all these things. can throw people in the air, break down doors, but it can't like play hide and go. It doesn't know where he is.
Yeah.
So you're telling me if somebody's walking in the woods, that spirit doesn't have a sense that there's someone there. They couldn't tell that he's quickly, because we saw him running away. It was close. It was a Scooby-Doo escape, and it went, and then he slipped under the trapdoor, no sound.
And literally, the spirit didn't even look. Like, it looked like the spirit walked into the room, looked around for 2 seconds, and left. Like, it literally gave up way too easy. Like, it really, like, you're right. The spirit should know, like, okay, I mean, I can go anywhere I want. He's got to still be here. You know, like,
and this is the smallest friggin' house in the world. So there's only 4 rooms and a basement in the check. It's not like it's a mansion where you can be moving around. There's no moving in a house this small.
Well, I think in the movie, it does show that the spirit is not the brightest spirit. You know, it's very, I mean, like, they really, first of all, what's the game plan for the spirit? Like, they're released now, right? They you know, they're released because the words were said. So now they're back in this world. Why are they just hanging around here? Like, they can go anywhere. Why are they hanging around here? Like, and what's like their game plan? Because it does, like, I'm curious, like, what are they trying to do? Like, what are they trying to accomplish?
Yeah, what's the end game? Yeah. Is it trying to take over as many people as they can, or are they like the little situation?
Yeah, but if that's the case, why are they hanging around a place that only has 5 people?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That's not that fun. You gotta go to like at least a little
go
town.
to a beach. There's a lot of people at the beach. Yeah, that's it.
Ruin their day with the giant like tree creature guy.
Oh,
that fills up the door later.
I have to tell you, I think one of the funniest parts in this movie was the deer on the wall.
Oh yeah, I know.
I mean, I wish they didn't show that in the trailer, because they showed it in the trailer. Because I watched the trailer before I watched the movie, and like just the way the deer turns its head and looks, I was laughing. I'm like, this is so ridiculous.
Yeah. That in a close second is the Pixar lamp dancing with him. When they're like looking at it, and they're kind of looking at each other.
Well, what the lamp, the books, everybody was laughing. Like, it was just everybody so like it literally was like, let's see how many objects that you would never think would have a personality, and let's just give them a personality.
It was a Disney movie without being a Disney movie.
It almost was. I mean, his hand was making sounds.
Oh my god!
It was making sound. Like, why was his hand making sounds? Like, it's so ridiculous.
Oh god, that was wild. That was so good.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
So this is kind of where we like been talking about a few times. This is where once he's in the trapdoor, this is when they're like, all right, give Bruce a break, carrying the movie. And this is where we see Annie, the professor's daughter. She arrives by plane. She has pages that need to be translated. So she wants to go to her dad's cabin. And then we kind of find out like right then and there. Also, it's been so long since she even like had communication with her parents. And we go back to the house again. It's really like 2 minutes to the plane. We go back. He peeks his head up, and then the piano starts playing by itself.
So, okay. So, wait. So she has these pages. She needs them translated?
Yeah. So the book, I guess, is sort of like a Rosetta Stone, maybe some of it, or maybe I'm thinking vice versa. Maybe what she had is a translation, but she needs both.
But where did she learn how to translate it?
From her dad. Her dad probably is the key.
But his dad's not there. If she's carrying these pages because she needs them to be translated, why is she? I mean, granted, she's going to the house so her father can translate them. The father's not there, so how does she end up translating them?
Because I'm sure there's a key in the book, like the Rosetta Stone. It's probably like this symbol equals S. This symbol equals V.
Okay, they don't show that at all.
Well, they don't have time. They cut it, keep it at 90.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Because she doesn't look at it. Remember when she's flipping through it and she's looking at the book? And that's when she's kind of like, then she starts
how about
reciting it.
Oh, look, the translation's right here. Like, give us a clue of what's going on and how you're doing the stuff you're doing.
Okay.
It takes 2 seconds to say that. That's all she had to say.
Yeah.
No, instead, we just
exposition.
assume somehow she just translated it. You know, she learned how to do translation from the airport to the cabin, you know, and in between fighting off other demons.
Yeah.
Okay.
I jumped ahead before. The first time was when her head was in the house and he was fighting just that. This is when he wakes up and the music's playing and then he looks outside and she's doing ballet. So this is a stop motion
Right.
scene.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
And how does she sneak up on him? Is that kind of, he goes right to a window to look closer to her, which I don't know why you'd need to. And then she's so close that her bony hands grab his arm.
Well, she's a spirit. I mean, you don't think the spirit can be sneaky?
Oh, yes, she can ship. Yeah, I guess she can teleport.
What I want to know is how is her body able to do anything, like find like where he is and fight without her head? Like,
I know.
How does the body know where to go?
How bad is that scene? We
Very
kind of
cool,
skipped
but
over
like-
that one too. When the body come busting the door and just as the chainsaw, that was so cool.
But she can't see. Like so clearly her eyes are not that important because she was able to do everything without her eyes anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is where all of that happens. So so we were right in the order of everything. Just all of it happens right here.
Well, I think because this, you know, I don't really have a lot of notes because
I don't either. This is like my lightest ever. There's like 2.5 pages because really, there's not too
that's
much.
what it is. So like I think because of all the special effects and the scenes, we're gonna be talking at a place just because there's just so much that happened in between. I just forget what order it's in. You know, it was just so much. So yeah. I mean, doesn't his hand get possessed soon?
Pretty soon, yeah. But you know what it kind of like maybe she would have came out of the grave anyway. But why when he woke up and he heard the piano, I guess the song reminded him of her because he pulls out the locket, he's looking at the locket, and then that's when he sees the spirit outside. But yeah, dude, when his hand
before we get, because I know the hand. So if that's you and you're in this trapdoor, you know, you're hiding, and at this moment nothing's going on in the trapdoor, why would you even leave? Like because it looks like he doesn't give it a lot of time. You know, I mean, he literally was just fighting with a head, you know. So that's got to be the most bizarre thing obviously that he's ever seen. Why would you leave the basement? Like, I would stay down there as long as possible, at least give it a day. You figure like, all right, you know, the spirit's going to give up after a day and go home, you know, like not like 5 minutes later and see if they're still there.
And why doesn't Henrietta, who's hiding in the basement this whole time, doesn't kill him then?
Is she alive at this point? Like, was there? But why? Yeah, she would have attacked him. So I don't think she's alive yet until maybe the daughter gets it.
Maybe Annie triggers her. Maybe the spirits have like their spirit playing cards. And they're like, oh, Annie's here. Let's get her dead mom. Maybe
they really don't explain a lot. So it's because you're 100% right. Like that, the spirit of Aunt Henrietta or whatever should be attacking him without a doubt.
I know.
Okay. All right.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
So Bruce, man, when he is just fighting himself, it is like it's insane that just one actor like can carry a scene that is really that silly. But he's just
physical.
So good.
And like, he's like falling on the ground. Like he's like, I mean, he's doing like some stunts, you know, and it's all about one hand. Like it's literally, I mean, it was pretty funny. I mean, the way he was doing it, the way he's trying to, you know, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think of like what other options besides cutting his hand off. Like I was thinking like, can you put it like in a paper bag and like, can the hand suffocate?
A paper bag. Put it back in the vice.
Put it in a vice. Yeah, but then you're stuck there. I'm saying instead of like chopping your hand off, like, can the hand suffocate? Because it's alive, it's talking. So like, I mean, like, what if you cut off a finger? Would that like affect the hand at all? Like, you know, like,
I would think so. Okay. Yeah.
If that was you, instead of cutting the whole hand off, wouldn't you start with a finger? Or at least like, because you don't know if the hand, like, if that's going to work. So you might as well try the finger first.
Maybe the brain is one of those fingers and it's done.
So listen, I'm going to keep cutting. You have 5 fingers. I'm going to keep cutting if you don't stop.
Yeah.
You know, so it's okay.
What an image, choking out your own hand. But But yeah, no, it was really cool, and I think it was really well done because he's doing like a Buster Keaton scene. Like he's doing so much falling, flipping over, and it's just really, it could be like a silent movie. But when he knocks the hand down and they're like knocked out, and he starts doing like towards the what was it? The machete, right?
Well, first of all, he wasn't knocked out. He was playing dead. So he was playing dead to his hand.
To himself.
Like he was, I mean, I was thinking, like, as I'm watching this, at first I thought he was knocked out, but then he surprises the hand later on. So he was pretending to be knocked out to his hand. And the hand was strong enough. But the hand is strong enough to drag him.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
But yeah, right. How'd the hand get tricked?
Same nervous system, same. Like they should be able to know, like, hey, this guy's really not sleeping. Usually, I know when he's sleeping.
When he jumps up, like to surprise the hand.
When he pounces on it and stabs it multiple times.
Well, he stabbed it in the floor, right? So the hand couldn't move anymore.
Yeah.
Like
and then that's when he grabbed the chainsaw, which the hand was going for, and he used his mouth to open it. But how would the thing have started the chainsaw? Maybe there was something else. It must have been going for a knife because they couldn't start the chainsaw because he had to use his own mouth to start it. That's how he started with one hand.
Yeah. But
that was cool.
Did he feel chopping the hand off? Because since the hand, like if you lose control of your hand and it's because it's possessed, do you also lose like sensation and like pain and everything? Like
I would think you'd have to. I don't know the spirit. There's any spirit, nervous system experts. Let us, at Sequels Only on Twitter.
How do you know how high to cut? Without like, like what if you cut too much?
Ow! Or you do too little. Ow! I feel that one. And then you have to move up a little bit.
Why doesn't it? First of all, why is only the hand possessed? And again, and this is part of being like these creatures these spirits are not that smart. Like the minute the hand was chopped off, why not jump to another body part?
Yeah.
No, it was still. I mean, it became a whole Addams Family thing at that point.
Oh, I know. And then when it came back, the best was when he put it under the bucket or the waste paper basket, and he piles on. Oh, I wrote down. We'll get to it in a little bit, and I'll confirm what it was. Oh, the book. It was called
I know.
Fallen Arms, right?
I wrote it down. Where is it? I know I wrote it down somewhere.
Fallen something.
Book is Farewell to Arms. Farewell to Arms.
Farewell to Arms.
To Arms. Yeah, I wrote that down too.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. But no, it was just so silly, the whole thing.
Well, the fact that the hand is like taunting him and then gets hit with a mousetrap.
Oh, dude, wait, no. How about the fact that it gets into the mousetrap? And how about the size of the mouse hole?
Oh,
like I always think it's cartoonish. Like we had a mouse in our house a few years ago, and it made like a little tiny thing, but they always have the perfect half circle. This one was like
it was a Tom and Jerry mouse hole, like
huge.
I want to know, where did they come up with that? Like, because 100%, a mouse could squeeze underneath a door, right? So a mouse, doesn't need a big hole, but somehow these holes, like in movies and cartoons, are always like gigantic, ridiculous. That was funny.
Oh my god! So Bruce, so this is where Bruce. This is when he starts dancing, but this is just before. This is when the blood,
oh my gosh,
shoots out from the wall and goes all over him, and then it just disappears. And it's like black residue is left on him. So it's like, did that happen?
Well, did it go back? It went back into the wall. Didn't it go in reverse at one point? I thought it went
did. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it happened. And then it went in reverse, and then he was left with black, on his body.
That's something in the show. He's constantly getting whether it's from a spirit that blows up, or he's constantly getting blood thrown all over him. It's like it was a constant thing. So it's
where are they fighting in that show? Does it take place everywhere?
No, well, I think it's in this town. I'm trying to think. But there's a whole story because Xena Warrior Princess, she's in there. She's like an evil
Lucy
spirit
Lawless?
in there.
Really?
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, the show is very entertaining and it's bizarre. Each episode is another spirit that he's got to fight, and the spirits are very funny, and it's silly gore. he's constantly dripping with blood. I mean, it's like all over the place. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's good. But yeah, so it's like the blood goes off of me, has like black on him, then it disappears, and this is where everything's dancing at the room, laughing at him. The picture frames. Oh, that's another one that was laughing. The picture frames were laughing at him. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
and then what happens next? He gets tackled by the tow truck driver. So like again, you're going into a house where there's a guy. Yeah.
Before we even get, and I mentioned it before. So when the daughter arrives in that area and they had no place to go, they came across the tow truck driver and her girlfriend, and they're like, Bobby Joe, and they said, "We'll take you there." They look like the most untrustworthy people you can imagine.
They'll murder you and rob you.
Oh, without a doubt, or like a deliverance kind of thing. Like, I mean, like, and they're like, and then like he's all the way in the back. So when you see them walking in the woods, you see one at a time, like the order they're walking in. He's the last one. Without a doubt, he should be the first one because I would not trust them behind me. Like, it was just like they seemed way too trusting of that crew.
I remember how pissed he was about them wanting to go over the bridge. Like he gets like kind of jealous about it. She's like, my parents, that's my parents' cabin. And he's like, oh yeah? He's like, well, there's no way, you're not going to be getting over it. And they seem real pissed. And then he like chimes in, but there is a trail. And it's like, why didn't you leave with that, buddy? Like she's like, hey, my parents live there.
That's not a red flag right there. That he didn't even mention the trail. Like, yeah, absolutely. But okay.
Unbelievable. Yeah, but the fact that he comes in, tackles the shit out of him, and it's like, this guy could be anybody. The tow truck driver, I would hope, was walking around with a gun because he does have a gun later in the movie, unless that's a gun that was at the house. Oh, that's a gun I think that was at the house.
But isn't that another red flag? Like, like the daughter's going there to see her parents. Why is this like this tow truck driver doesn't even know what the parents look like? This could have been her brother. Like he randomly went in there and just tackled him out of the blue. Like I could see if it was a boyfriend or something like that, but like this guy doesn't know anything about them.
Oh, man. And then she goes right in. She's asking her parents. Ash has no idea. I love that she goes to the recording. She starts playing it, starts skipping forward. And it's cool. Like every 10 seconds that they play, it's like, and Henrietta, she seems possessed. And it's like, today I had to bury her and I put her in the basement. And then like right on cue, it's like the boom, boom, and you see the face. And it's like, oh my God.
But if he buried her, why is she in the basement?
Third floors, maybe? I don't remember what the basements were like, but he did say something about chain her.
No,
I know. Maybe?
He did. No, chain her. No, I think he said bury her. But it wouldn't make sense that she would be in the basement. Okay. All right.
But man, dude, there's some wild stuff. Even the Bobby Joe thing didn't really pan out. The only thing that panned out, she went absolutely apeshit and ran away and didn't stop. But when the eyeball flew out.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
and went
ridiculous.
Down her throat. There was no payback.
She couldn't dodge that
payoff. I know.
Yeah, and you're right. She literally swallowed it, and there was no mention of it. She didn't even freak out. It just went to the next, And is that what? Because when these spirits take over a body, you still see the person that they're taking over, even though their face kind of changes a little bit. Is that what Henrietta really looked like? Because if that's what
we saw what Henrietta looked like. They did do the little bit of the old woman,
right? So then, why does she look so different? Because she looks like a slug. She looks like
she does.
Because every other person that's possessed looks like the person they were. Just their face changes a little bit, but the body's the same and everything else. Henrietta has no clothes on, and literally and which doesn't have any body parts. I wonder. This is very weird of how they decided to come up with her look.
Yeah, I do love when she goes back to being the mom. Oh, hi, honey, and really normal, and then it's whoa, dude. But yeah, when the blonde boyfriend gets possessed, man, that was a really cool scene. It was just really funky. But the thing about him was weird. He wasn't bit. I wrote that down. Not bit.
He got thrown into the wall. Thrown into the wall, and it broke a picture frame.
Oh, But what I'm saying is like, there's no rules of how they change. It's not like, oh, I kill you, you change. Like it's like a Call of Duty or something like this.
So
there's
then
there's no transfer of anything.
No. So then, do they have to be knocked out to transfer? Like, can they?
Oh, the only thing I might quickly thinking, if he died on impact, maybe if you die in the house, your spirit. I don't know.
If he died from that throw, because I mean, if you take the amount of times that Ash has been tossed around and gets right back up, like Ash should be dead. Every bone in Ash's body,
he should have really been in a Stretch Armstrong movie.
Oh, but even the girl, I mean, even the girl gets tossed around a little bit, and they're fine. Yeah. So I can't imagine the boyfriend dying from that. I just wonder if maybe they can possess because even Ash was possessed when he was knocked out, right? Yeah. So I wonder if when you're knocked out is the only time you can get possessed. Because if there's no rules, then why are they just not possessing everybody while they're
they could just wait in. Maybe if they knew the rules and they just like fight him off a little bit so they don't kill him so he's dead forever. Maybe it was like as long as you're knocked out, then when you get consciousness, it goes away.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Again, I would just like some rules. Like there's got to be some kind of explanation.
Something, right?
Yeah, something.
Oh my god! But yeah, so when Ash has the axe and he's swinging like crazy. Looks like he's killing the goblins from Nilbog in Troll 2. Green blood everywhere. Like it's all green now.
You know what? They have like 3 different types of blood in this movie. It was green, red, and blue, black. Like they're really like, no rhyme or reason. It was just like, let's say how gross can we make it? And that's how they're going. And I love the fact that Henrietta, she still had no eye. Like even though she popped her eye out, the rest of the movie she has one eye.
Yeah. No, that it's cool that because they didn't forget. Like again, when you look at IMDb, they like continue. I always love those things. Like if there's a drink on the table and then they cut back and it's like full and not full.
Yeah.
When Ash falls down the stairs, he cracks all the stairs, and then when he goes back later to get the pages that are perfectly fine, the stairs are fine. Not cracked from like the earlier scene. No, but I do love that happened. But how about the Bobby Joe's day? Like if she gets to wherever it is afterwards, maybe it's porn heaven. And when she gets there, she's explaining like what happened in her day. Crazy, right? Like she hits an eyeball, shot down her throat, and then she has a guy chewing on her hair. He's not even biting her; he's eating her hair.
Yeah, that was so. I was like, what is like so bizarre? And then the trees. Like I and I knew there was a tree scene in Evil Dead, and I thought this. Then I'm watching this, I'm like, I thought it was the first one, but then I'm watching it's like, are they doing the same thing that they did in the first movie? Yeah, because they do rip her shirt open, or something. Like they started ripping her shirt. So like that was bizarre. So what's the significance of the trees in both these movies? Like why?
I don't know, I was just thinking everything's possessed the land, everything's working together. Because even it is a cool shot, the trees especially, but the house, everything in the house. So it's like everything in vicinity of within earshot of that tape recording, which it's not like it was that loud.
So why not possess the chainsaw, the machete, the axe?
This is like the maximum overdrive logic that we're trying to figure out right now. Yeah, why would it choose non-weapons?
Why choose a lamp and a book when you can choose a machete and a chainsaw? Like, again, stupid spirits. These spirits are not the smartest.
Yeah, they're not the best.
Okay.
They barely passed spirit school. So then now the house goes silent. They're just looking around, and then they start hearing noises everywhere. They start to check out all the rooms. This is where we do see the professor. Remember, he's like he's a hologram. Yep. He's in like all white, and he tells them how to get rid of the spirits. It was really just reading. Yep. It wasn't anything crazy, right? It wasn't just reading.
Well, yeah. There's like 2 things they have to do. They have to bring the spirits into the world, and then another reading to open up the passageway to the realm. But this is where they start like looking in rooms, right? And they were going to the bedroom. Is this the scene when he goes to the bedroom?
Are they in the bedroom already? Yeah, I guess it must be. Then next is when Bobby Joe flees.
Yes. And and no one wanted to go, so Ash is going, and then the daughter goes, but she grabs a lantern. The lights are on in the entire house. Why is she grabbing a lantern to go into the bedroom? Like, how about grab the chainsaw? How about grab like a weapon? She grabs the lantern.
Maybe she wanted to like maybe knock Ash in the head. Which later in the movie is funny with her. Well, I get why she's insecure about it, because I would be too if this guy was just like another looking creature. Yeah. So I do get it, but no, that was pretty funny. But so with Bobby Joe, when they're all standing there and they're like holding hands, and she thinks she's holding the tow truck driver's hand, and it's the dead hand, and then she just freaks out.
He did a prank.
Pranking.
First of all, were their eyes closed when they were doing that, or were their eyes open?
Yes, I think their eyes were closed. It was like kind of like a seance they were doing. They were trying to do something, but then and then just ran and did not stop.
Okay, wait. So there's a problem here then, because if they're all holding hands and she's holding the possessed hand, someone is not holding a hand.
Oh yeah, because it would all have to be a chain. Yeah,
right. So doesn't that person realize they're not holding a the person that's there's going to be one odd person not holding a hand? Doesn't that person realize they're not holding a hand and they don't say anything?
Or maybe that one person didn't know they were holding hands. They were just holding the girl. Maybe it was like Ash holding Annie's hand, be like, "Hey, this girl's pretty good looking." And the other one just kept going, and he didn't know the chain kept going. But yeah, the fact that you see the dead hand and it looks like deader than we just saw it like earlier in the movie, it's like starting to decay a little bit. It has like a different color.
But you have to think that hand is playing a prank, because there's no other reason to be holding her hand during that moment except for like trick her.
Yeah, unless he could have killed her. If you were exactly, you could have like a hand on the throat, something. No, I'm just gonna mess with it. Yeah, should have like the touch the shoulder thing. Each shoulder, and then when they keep turning, and it's really just the hand just playing a prank. But
putting the bunny ears behind her head, like
But yeah, dude, that whole thing with when she's running in the woods, we see the tree with the mouth, and you see like the branches hooking her, and the vines, and it starts going into her face. I'm like, oh my god, dude, that looks so.
That was so gross. Cool. Though, when you start seeing the things popping out of her face, like wasn't it like sticks or something coming out of her face? Like, she gets thrown into the tree, right?
Yeah, and then it just and then it just like goes black, and it goes back to Annie and Ash. And they're trying to go through notes to try to figure out what to do, and then this is where the redneck guy pulls the gun on him and says, "All right, we have to go look for her." And then and Ash is like, "Man, especially with guns pointed at me, I'm gonna say whatever this person wants to hear so they don't shoot me." And he's like, she's out there alone, she's dead, she's already dead, or she's already gone. Then that guy didn't like that too much.
Yeah, but Ash is taking on multiple spirits at this point. He can't handle a hillbilly with a gun.
Oh, but that is true. Yeah,
I mean, this is Ash we're talking about, right? I mean,
quick work,
easily, right? So no, so because I mean, he knows what's out there. So like you would think he would have done everything he can to like distract the guy and take the gun away, but okay.
No, pretty good. Right. Pretty quick at doing it. And then the guy's like kind of is lax. Like as soon as they go to the house, he has the gun pointing at them, has them go in front. And then it's like pretty quick he forgets in a way because how scary it is. The trees are all moving around and it's just like really creepy.
Why were they standing there? Like the minute they saw that, they should have ran back into the house. Like they weren't. They were still waiting there. And the minute that the hillbilly, because the hillbilly ends up walking in front of them at that point.
Yeah, he does.
He was like, so that's the time when, the girl and Ash should have ran back into the house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They should have done that so quick. And then right there is when he changes. Right? Yep. This is when Ash goes back into the
he's outside of the house. Because he's outside of the house.
Yeah, so that's when it takes him over, and then when the tow truck driver, man, he gets tossed. Jeez, man.
Yeah. But okay, so that's when he changes, and they run back to the house, and she shuts the door, right? And she's standing. She does this a few times in the movie. She's literally standing with her back against the door, and her arms out, like so dumb. The spirit can't crash right through. First of all, there's holes all through the door, like it's boarded up. And like, would you stand by the door knowing that they probably could knock the door down or go through it? Like, Okay.
Yeah, no, not smart. And and then she has that weird weapon, whatever it is. And it's definitely like rubber because you see the way it moves, like when they're even taking it out and stuff.
But, it reminded me of Lamar's javelin. How it's bouncing. Like,
Oh my god! But man, yeah, dude, there is like, it's like we talked about, so many cool special effects like throughout this movie, and it just gave like Howard and everybody else that worked on it like an opportunity to just try some crazy shit, because the trees, even that being like, when you think about it, okay, these are miniatures or they're moving them, it just looked like so real and so
seeing
creepy.
their roots come out of the ground and move up and down, like it was almost breathing. Like it looked like it was breathing. No, you know what? The special effects in this movie for the time, and even not for the time, just they were very impressive. And like I said, it was very creative because it makes you want to say like, all right, what's the next thing I'm going to see? Because there was just, it was almost like a Beetlejuice kind of thing where like, it's something weird next. You're going to see some kind of special effects. You don't know what it is, but you're looking forward to seeing what's next.
Yeah. How are they going to, take it up a notch? Like even in like American Werewolf in London, it seems like each time you see like the werewolf transformation, there's like different things that, oh man, this is getting better and better and better. But yeah, so Annie, the door opens, it's the tow truck driver, she stabs him, and then he's down on the ground, and then this is when Ash is like that spirit, and then we're getting some, oh my god, dude. But how about what she does, dude, when she stabs the tow truck driver? She's like slamming the guy's body into the door.
Why? Like that? Yeah, that made no sense. Like she was like slamming his head. It was his head there.
Yeah.
First of all, and that thing that she stabbed him with had like layers of spikes.
Yeah.
Like and she's pulling that out of his body. Like that should have killed him immediately. Like because my guess is like one of those things. Like if it's in there, you leave it in there because once you release it, it's done. So like that had to be like that was crazy. Oh yeah,
it's not like the guy had bad intentions. It's not like he was like, all right, I'm gonna walk you so we can get the gold, or let me steal the diamonds. He wanted to see the love of his life again.
He literally had no bad intentions at all. They made it look like he was this creepy guy,
he was
but
creepy,
really,
yeah,
well, he was creepy, but with rotten teeth. But there was no, he wasn't as bad as I thought he was going to be.
No, not at all. But and then right at this point, so he's out because she pulls the knife out of him. Annie has the axe. She's looking at the windows, and then the creature in the basement. Oh my god, that was cool.
This whole part is so bizarre. And this is where it grabs the hillbilly, right? To drag him down. Yeah,
and it was just like basically like a flood of blood coming from it.
Oh, ridiculous. So let me ask you this. She's holding on to the legs the entire time these buckets of blood are like splurting out from the basement. Wouldn't you have let go? Like, I don't think that guy's making it. I mean, the minute one splash of blood comes out, all right, you're done. Like, she was holding, like, I was waiting for her to like bring the legs back up, and there was only legs. So that would have been good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the amount of blood that comes out of there, like, yeah. Which... is the house alive? Because there's blood, like, again, the walls shot a lot of blood out and the basement shot a lot of blood out. Like, where's that blood coming from? Like, I wonder if the house is alive.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. The lamps are alive. The house could be alive. The tree, it's like anything within.
So is that the house's blood?
Do houses bleed? No,
I mean, again, the walls before shot major blood out when he thought he killed a mouse. Or the hand. So I'm curious if like the house, is alive.
Yeah, no, It seems like it. Why? Like, I don't see. That's the only explanation to make it make sense that a wall can shoot blood out. Who else would be like doing that? So then Ash pops in. He kind of sneaks in. He throws Annie against the wall, and then he sees the necklace.
Yep.
And this is the first time he turned because of like the other one seemed like it was just like, I don't know, like a timing thing or something. Like, I don't know if he got bumped again. This one was like, oh, he remembers being normal. And then he was able to beat it, to get back to his normal self.
So love conquers and he could change because of the love.
Did he love her? It seemed like a first or second date, that girl.
No, didn't he have like a ring or something? I thought he had a ring. Wasn't there a ring or something that was in his pocket? Maybe I think
I don't know.
I thought he had something that, all right.
I don't know if he was going to propose.
He made a comment, something like, or she made a comment like, you promise you'll never leave me, you'll be with me forever. Like, I there was something. I think I think he did love her. I think there was something.
It was the second date and he said whatever he needed to do to get back into her apartment or something.
All right, maybe.
But so then Annie, again, I get it. Like, she doesn't know this is like freaky. And I'm sure she's heard freaky stories from her dad, maybe from other adventures that he had, or maybe this is the only one that he dealt with. But I would say probably the former. And like, so I get it. Like, you get the axe, you're going to try to kill this guy. And I love that she doesn't stop.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the minute you see someone that's possessed attacking you and everything else you saw so far up to this point, you think you're going to take a chance when he says, oh yeah, I'm fine. You know, like, so you're absolutely, I'm on her side. I'm trying to kill this thing as much as possible. So,
yeah.
And even when she slowed him down, she still swung. She swung more.
Oh, dude. When he kind of explained it and he was calm and his head was against the wall and you just saw it go through the wall, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is great.
Let me ask you this. Now, if you're Ash, would you ever turn your back on Annie?
No, you'd have to have.
The rest of the movie, she's in front of me the entire time. I am not trusting her one bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then they know what they have to do. They have to go downstairs in the basement, get the pages. So this is when they go down there. And we kind of skipped. It wasn't that big of a part before, but when they threw Ash in the basement.
Oh,
so when they got in the house, they tackle him. And then the tow truck driver was like, hey, man, here's your punishment. Throws them down there. There's somebody down here. And that's how that all started. Yeah.
Well, that and the fact that he also threw the pages in the basement.
Yeah. That's how he gets him to leave.
Yeah.
He goes, here are the pages, and now you're going to come with me. Yeah.
So, but why didn't he just throw it in the fire?
Sure.
Like, wouldn't that make more sense? Like, I thought he was going to do that. Like, he threw it in the fire, you're done. Like, but he throws it in the basement. Like, okay, you're never going to find them now.
I know, I tell you, my kids, I take away something, I put it on the fridge. I'm like, they're gonna get it. They probably, if I walk out of the room, they're gonna climb on something.
They already know where it is
to get to it. Yeah, no, I know. Instead of like ripping them up, I'm gonna put them over here. It's gonna take you a minute to go down the stairs and get it. But yeah, dude, they go down there and they're like, all right, we gotta get these pages. They get loaded up.
Okay, first of all, they don't go in the basement. She stays up top again.
She does, yeah. She makes it seem like she's gonna go.
Yeah,
because he's getting loaded up with the chainsaw. He saws off the end of his shotgun.
Yeah,
and she's like, and then she watches him walk down
the whole time. Why did she go with him? Like, she makes him do everything. Like, and there's another secret entrance. There's another secret room down there that he comes across. Like, this is a cabin in the woods. Like who's living here? Like, ridiculous.
I know, if you drew it out, I bet you the basement's definitely bigger than the upstairs. Just the way it's like what we can say.
Ridiculous. And it's in the woods. Like a cabin. So they're having a basement down there. Okay.
One of the pages, we see them earlier when she first shows Ash the pages when she first gets to the house. And like they trust him a little bit. And she's flipping through them really quick. And there is a little sketch of a man with a chainsaw arm. So you're like, all right, I'm like, I already know about this, but that was really cool if they kind of put that in there. And then he's ready to go.
Why would it be in there? But why would it be in there?
Well, what's the end of the movie?
No, what do you mean? No, but why would the sketch have that?
Because it's meant to happen. He time travels.
So then again, that goes along with the rules of the spirit. Is he like the one that was foreshadowed to come and, take care of the spirits, like, and that's why the spirits can't kill him because they never.
He's John Connor.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what it sounds like, because he should have died multiple times, but the spirits somehow can't kill him. So I wonder if he's the one, and he was foreshadowed to be the guy with the chainsaw is going to come back and save everybody.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's the guy. Yeah, they can't defeat him. He has that extra. Whatever, because we've seen these other people get tossed against the wall and be dead.
I mean,
he's flying through the air, hitting trees.
He's
and just
tossed
like,
in the basement, stumbling down the stairs and gets right back up. And So let's talk about this chainsaw. So can I ask you what he does to this chainsaw that somehow it fits on his hand, his stub?
I don't know. He just like lots of like.
But what chainsaw has like a hole in there to stick a stub?
I know.
I mean, like, so how does that work? Like, And it fits perfectly because it doesn't fall off when he falls down the stairs, and like it almost has like a lock on it.
It is kind of locked into his arm, like an accessory, like a G.I. Joe.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, just so badass. Even the way they just present it when he first puts it on, and then when he's done cutting the end off of the shotgun and he like moves it a little bit and it falls off, looks really cool. It's like a good again. Yeah.
No, I'll say, and very handy doing it all in one hand.
Oh my god, yeah, dude.
And
how he does that is wild.
I'm trying to think. I think it's his right hand that has the chainsaw, right?
Yeah,
so okay, so what? I mean, the odds are he's probably righty. So the fact that he's doing this all with his left hand, it's pretty impressive.
Very, very. He has a lot of skills, but no, it's like again special effects. But that image of him and saying "groovy" is like,
oh yeah. Well, I like Ash is Born. Like that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
Okay.
Then we get the tow truck driver is down there, but when we see him, he's just like a skeleton with overalls. So it's the same guy, just nothing left to him because he got all his blood.
So okay, skin. So now you say that, I was thinking maybe that was the father, because we don't see the father.
No, we saw the father. The father was somehow like kind of a good spirit or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so all that blood, which was a lot, was all from the hillbilly?
Tow truck guy,
yeah. And then it just basically, he's a skeleton, turns right into a clean skeleton.
It was kind of like a better version of the thing in Nothing to Lose with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Remember the Bono, whatever it's called, like the Bono chopper, whatever that stupid conveyor belt.
Oh my gosh.
People came out and there were just bones laid out. So maybe it was something like that, but oh my god, dude! But then, dude, and then Annie helps out because she's battling the mom as well, and just so many cool. It just looks great. The stop motion animation when the mom transforms into like whatever that head was. It was kind of like a
did you notice that the mom does a Hulk Hogan move? When she got knocked down, and she did like a when she stood up, she did the Hulk Hogan like getting off the mat and standing up. I wrote down Hulk Hogan move from the mom. Like, yeah, it was pretty funny.
Jeez. And then Annie, her strategy, it's like in a lot of movies, you try to get to something that touches like the memories of, hey, you're actually good. She starts singing Hush Little Baby, and that distracts like the thing long enough, and then Ash is able to cut its head off.
You know, as my daughter was watching this part, and the whole time she's like, "Why didn't I just cut his head off?" Because it was such a long, like, it almost reminded me. I think it was the movie The Thing, or not The Thing. There was a movie where they like this thing turned into this weird, like, looking creature with like a long head, a dog face or something, and I was thinking like, you know, like, what were they going with this? Like, why did she have, like, she was already a spirit. She was already like a creepy spirit. Why'd she have to turn into something else?
Yeah,
like,
or turn into something.
That was the only
better.
spirit that did that. That was the only spirit that did that.
Yeah, that change. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
yeah. Every evil spirit just stayed as the person that they were. So why was the mom different?
Super powerful. From maybe the professor. I don't know, but to choose something that makes it worse for you. Like, to make yourself a long head, so obviously your reaction time's longer and it's hard to do so much. Maybe it's like intimidating, but not really a smart thing to do. But a good line.
But is it intimidating? Because it what made it scary? That it just made it awkward. It seemed like it moved awkward now because of the long neck. Like,
I was just thinking, just seeing something like that change in front of you. Would
the
be
changing
pretty,
part was
like,
right. Yeah,
devastating to see.
Yeah, but honestly, everything else you saw that whole day.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, nothing really should surprise you.
This is like normal now. This is my life. Yeah. But man, when I'll swallow your soul, swallow this. Cool. That was really good. He's great, man. I think a guy that has done a lot, definitely done a lot, well known. His look is he's like a guy, like if you went into like AI, give me a guy that looks like a Hollywood. He has like the perfect jawline.
You would think he would be like in a frat movie, you know, when he was younger, kind of look like to him, you know, like that. Was he in a lot of stuff before this, or was this like his first break?
I think the first one. Yeah, the first one. That's a good question. He's one of those guys that has been turning up in random 80s movies that I've been watching. Trying to think where I saw him at. Definitely 80s in a very small role, but I forget.
Like did he? Because I feel like I've seen him pop up in movies here and there, and always like just like a cameo character. Like, did he like star in anything else outside of Evil Dead?
Let's see, real quick.
And did he make a cameo in the remake?
Oh, I don't know. Oh man, he was doing a lot of shorts until 7. He was in Curse the Were short. Wow, he did a lot of shorts until his career picked up. That's pretty cool. First credit of a movie that I know, Evil Dead. Oh, dude, you know what? He's in. Oh no, it's not. It's like a short movie, but it's Toro. What was that other one called? Tora, right? Tora. Yeah, this is Toro. He was on Knots Landing after this, but even like in between like the two Evil Deads, not in much, man. He had a movie called another short, so he's filming a lot of shorts. I don't know who he's working with.
Did he do any like starring roles after this? Like
Maniac Cop 2, he's one of the main guys. Waxwork 2, one of the main guys.
Okay.
Bloodsucker Proxy, which I have on Laserdisc. And then he had that series, The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., when he's like an old West guy, which was like good.
Oh, that was he started in that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, he was the main guy.
And I remember briefly, like, there was a lot of wisecracking in that, right? Like, that was totally him.
Oh,
it was basically Ash in the West.
Uh-huh. And a movie that we saw him in that, again, a guy, think about his credits, not in a lot, but he's in something that's such a big pop culture reference, especially for like horror. Escape from LA. Remember when he had the really bad plastic surgery as the surgeon general? Yeah, so that's really From Dusk Till Dawn 2. So he's done like a bunch of stuff, but it's more like Evil Dead.
I've tried so many times to get him. Oh,
yeah.
Did you see? I sent it to you. Did you see the episode of the Practical Jokers when he was on there for the last scene?
Yeah.
You're so funny.
He's in so much. Yeah, he was in Evil Dead Rise. He had a voice and a recording.
Oh, so he was in the new one.
Let's see, what year was that? 20.
Because I thought it was.
He was
I thought it was more
uncredited. So maybe there's some kind of. I heard it was
more of a horror movie. It wasn't a funny. It was more horror.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
But yeah, no. So definitely like so much. Like again, just a memorable face. Like he has that Hollywood face. But so he shoots with the shotgun. Bruce and Annie embrace. They give that look like, oh man, maybe we're gonna bang or something, which is kind of weird because we just went to this thing. And then I know where the house starts getting destroyed by the trees.
Oh,
Annie's not able to finish the passages, and I'm like, I wrote down, why the hell did she stop? To hug him? She's like, oh, okay. Well, why don't we just keep this going now? Right?
Ridiculous.
What's the hesitation?
And now you got to do it under pressure? Like, I mean, like,
with the tree stabbing you?
Yeah.
The evil hands back?
And literally, like, she got stabbed by that same spear again.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the back. And, like, I think he said something like he didn't seem that remorseful. He's like, good job, kid. He said something like that.
I know.
And then walked away. Like,
so dumb. And then the creature by the door was pretty cool.
That thing was,
so he's like chainsawing that creature. Everything is like and then boom, it's like, all right, whoa, everything disappears, right? Oh, okay, cool.
It's because of the opening, right? That's why they disappeared. No,
well, does everything come first before the portal opens? Because I thought
you're right.
You're
right. They got sucked out. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So they got like sucked out, but it wasn't like the sucking out of like the portal.
Right. No. It wasn't like yeah. Okay.
And then it was like, all right, cool, everything's gone. Then I wrote, now there's a portal sucking everything into it. Ash gets sucked into it. I'm like,
which, you know what? Listen, I that could be cool, but the fact that in that. So based on that, he gets sucked into medieval times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't everything else get stuck to medieval times?
The
Like,
lamp would be great if the lamp
everything.
is
But
next to him.
everything should have crashed down. So there should have been a pile of trees and lamps and books and everything that got sucked in that portal. Like, why are they getting sucked into different dimensions? Like, shouldn't it be
What
all
was the
one
last time
dimension?
you
Like,
saw Army of Darkness? A long time?
a long time ago. Like, the only scene I remember is when he's fighting a bunch of little ashes.
I haven't seen that. I got to watch that soon. I don't remember any of that.
You never saw it?
I remember the movie because I remember
It's a comedy.
seeing
It's
some
like
of it.
a pure, if I remember correctly, it's like a pure comedy. I mean, it's got it's really like, again, him dealing with being in medieval times kind of thing. So I mean, I don't remember the movie. I remember him fighting like little versions of like tiny little ashes. He has a big fight with.
My question was is if in the next one, especially being the medieval times, as always in medieval times, there's like a Merlin type character, like some kind of like seer. So, like, I wonder if that's who somehow sent into the future to get him or something. But I hope so,
remember.
because if not, it's kind of silly. But I did.
We're gonna have to do this movie.
No, we're gonna have to. Yeah, and I love when he gets there. The medieval times people are like staring at him, like, "Oh my god, what is this?" Then the flying creature gets sucked in. So something else got sucked in. And Ash comes out of nowhere and blows it up with a sort of shotgun.
Wait, so that's I thought that flying creature was from their time. I don't, because he wasn't. We never saw that thing before.
I was thinking that spirits came with him. I didn't. I thought
that was just like, listen, there's dragons during medieval time. Why can't that be?
No, not really.
No, dragons aren't during medieval times.
No, it's not real. No, that's all stories. What?
I don't know. They killed them all. In movies, there's dragons during medieval times.
In movies, yes, there is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a movie. So that
I know.
I'm assuming that was from there. I don't, because there was nothing else sucked in from his world. So I don't think. Yeah. I just think that like he killed it in 2 seconds. So I think that's what again, I don't remember the Army of Darkness, and I don't know if they just put him on this high pedestal like he's all of a sudden now.
Sure, that's the thing, and I love that Sam Raimi that does the speech.
Yeah.
That ends the movie like right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty cool.
But not knowing, again, Army of Darkness came out 5 years after this, so not knowing anything about Army of Darkness, if I'm just watching this movie for the first time, this ending is awful.
So rushed, and like I would rather than like I don't even know what else. That is such like a
the underworld. He should have got sucked to the underworld or something and meet the devil or something like that. But like because you have a movie here that's comedy horror, right? There's a lot of there's a lot of blood and guts, and you literally just turned it into a silly comedy by the last scene. And so I think that takes it a little away from the movie. Like, again, I think it would have been better if you're sucking. The whole point of saying those words is to open his portal to send them back to hell. Basically, he should have ended up in hell. Like that would, and again, it could be silly. He could have done something silly in hell or something like that. But I think that would have been a better ending. Just go in the past, the medieval times, just makes no sense.
Yeah, no, I know, and it's just like I don't know. It was just like really quick. He defeats everything, and then it's over in like 3-4 minutes. It was like the end of a Death Wish movie. He kills the bad guy, rolls smooth as jazz, and he's gonna walk off, and the credits are coming.
And the fact that the movie didn't come out, so all right, so you're watching this, you're thinking, all right, so there's gonna be a third one. He's gonna figure out, because the way the movie ended, it was like, okay, no, it's 5 years later.
Yeah.
So like people already forgot about it at that point until they
even the first to the second. The only reason that one got made, it was funny that we made the joke, the reference to like Maximum Overdrive earlier. Stephen King got the second one greenlit because he asked De Laurentiis, who produced Maximum Overdrive, man, you should really do the funding for this Evil Dead so they can do a sequel. Because that's 6 years later it took to get that one out. So you got to think, man, over 11 years it took to make your 3 movies, and it wasn't like. It was a lot of like making sure you had people to champion it. Because I'm not saying this movie didn't do great. It has a huge following. It has such a high score. This is like one of those movies that has such a great score on Rotten Tomatoes that I know there's some like really like drama, maybe like romance movies that I don't like. But for something that is in, I would say, my wheelhouse, it was good. Like it was a good movie. The special effects were fun. It was just like, I don't know. There was just something missing to it. that
I would say though, I think, because obviously there was time between the first and second one. I don't know if people were excited about it, but imagine after this movie ended, and then you see the trailer for the first time for Army in Darkness 4 years later, the excitement of people probably like us.
Oh, 100%.
Like that trailer when it first came out and people didn't know they're making a new one. That was probably, I would love to see the how much Army Darkness made compared to, like, say, Evil Dead 2. Like, I bet you it did well in the theater.
Yeah. No. We'll definitely do that. But yeah, that was that what we've been talking about. That was Evil Dead 2. Jamie, would you recommend someone to check out this movie?
I would say yes. And without even knowing about the first one, to me, again, Bruce Campbell crushes it. The special effects were fun to watch. A lazy Saturday day, it's a fun movie to watch. It's not a great movie. There is no plot, but I think the whole Ash and seeing with his hand alone, is worth watching. So I would say, it's definitely worth watching once. Campbell crushes it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Same thing. I would definitely say it's something you have to check out because there is a lot of. It is a movie that has such a pop culture reference because even like the deer, I feel like that's been replicated so many times. Obviously, like puppeteering anything that's on the wall, like a trophy, but it's always like that kind of angle. It is so the same to this movie. Like they pay homage to it because I'm sure so many people in special effects saw this movie, like Howard's work on it, or like, man, that is the shit that I want to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's really like trying new things.
No, and this movie tries new things. I mean, where are you going to see a lamp laughing? Like having a personality. So I definitely think there's a lot of like different things that maybe people took for and used for other movies. But I also, I also think like comedy horrors are in a different realm of horror movies, right? Like I enjoy comedy horror better than horror movies. I think if you can add some comedy, plus have some horror into it. I like it better. And, they don't make too many comedy horrors. So, this is definitely one to watch if you like a little mix of both.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, no, it's one of those things that's hard to nail. Tucker and Dale versus Evil, great. Cabin in the Woods, great. There's so many that just like try too hard and they just like fall flat on their face. But,
absolutely.
But now next up, we're doing one of the coolest horror movies, I think, ever. Because it really reinvented a franchise, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is like just one of those. Again, I shouldn't. Maybe that's why I love this era of film, like that 80s, 90s. Even though I was super young when this came out in 94, I remember seeing this like at 8, 9 years old because I saw Nightmare on Elm Street at 6, and when this was on pay-per-view, it's not like my parents were like, hey, yeah, we're gonna monitor what you're watching. It was like, okay, can you handle it? So I remember watching this, like so many cool things about this movie, the stealing the shots because the earthquakes were happening in LA at the time. So Wes had a crew out there and they kind of like mixed in the earthquakes so you could use some of those shots and they incorporated it with the story. It's just so cool. And for it, it's really cool, the timing of it. Talking with Howard last week, then next week we're talking with Bill Hunt, who his big break, Howard was involved in that story, like a lot of cool stuff. He grew up in like a suburb of Nashville, Tennessee, not special effects and something that goes on down there. But his parents were like sort of in arts, but his dad finally gave in, helped his son out. Cool story about that. But he grew up looking at Fangoria Magazine, and then his first job is with K&B, Howard's studio, and he's working on Jason Goes to Hell, and his mask is on the cover of Fangoria Magazine. So, like,
that's awesome.
First thing he does, because he was only supposed to just make, like, a bunch of extra masks, even though there's not a ton of masks in the movie, because, Jason's barely in that movie. But, but so many cool credits that he had working on like Scream, From Dusk Till Dawn, 30 Days a Night, just a lot of great stuff. But a story about because he lives in New Zealand now. He went over there really because he loved the Lord of the Rings, the cartoon from the 70s. He just wanted to go out there, see if he could work at the shop for a little bit. He went out there,
Never
worked
came back.
at the shop for like a little bit, and they called him when he was back in LA. He said, "Hey, you want to be out here for 3 years?" So he worked on those movies, and he's still there. So great talking to Bill. Fun chat. Super energetic. If you watch the video, he has some cool stuff. So when he moved there, he couldn't really bring a lot because, you know, when you're moving to New Zealand, the cost of probably shipping your stuff would be like ridiculous. So he made a lot of the stuff, like Jason type stuff. So really cool interview. He's got a production company doing special effects. So we talk about that, and I'll put that in the episode notes next week. But yeah, so be sure to check it out. And don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to share our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.